bring his ass to this ring? Give me a hell yeah!
Okay, we'll bring him to the ring, but only one more time this year. Well,
and if that, really.
within this calendar year.
Within this calendar year.
Yeah. Because you see, we next week are going to begin our second journey around the sun.
Woo!
Well, how's that for a way of looking at it?
That's what for the common people out there. That means next week is our 1 year anniversary of SCI Wrestling.
It's our second anniversary around the sun. No, not a second anniversary. Our second journey around the sun is what we're starting, so that would be the first anniversary. Yeah.
So next week is our 1 year anniversary show.
Yes.
Which we're very, very excited about here at SCI. So we have a huge show that's in the works for you for next week. We plan on having a guest on from SCI Wrestling's past year.
Hopefully we'll get a bunch on.
That's my plan. That's my plan as the producer here. That's my plan, is to have as many people as I can on the show. We plan on having a little bit longer of a show, just to have a good time, kind of reflecting over the past year and wishing us a happy second year and see what's coming up next.
So are you going to buy me anything for our first anniversary?
Yes, I do plan on it.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
I was going to say it's about time, because hell, you never take me anywhere.
No.
You never call when you're going to be late.
No.
I mean, I just don't know what to do. Jeez.
I'm worse than a woman, aren't I?
Don't get me started. Okay, looking over the past week of wrestling, it's been kind of a...
Wait. I'm so sorry. Sorry, but I do remind people, that listen to the show, I will be updating our Twitter page as soon as I get all the guests confirmed.
Yes.
I'll be tweeting who's going to be on the show. So keep an eye on that, SCI_wrestling.
Okay, SCI_wrestling, that's the Twitter.
And then as soon as I find out, then I usually will tell WB, who will be posting to our Facebook, which is at Squared Circle Insider Wrestling.
Okay. And, if some listener wants to chime in, send them email over to sci@wbward.com.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Chime in on that. Wish us a happy anniversary. Mail us a check. Whatever you want to do. That'll be fine.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. On Facebook, I never can remember that address.
I just said it.
Did you?
Squared Circle Insider Wrestling.
Okay, thank you. Well, I hate getting old.
Is it catching up to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have I given the email address yet?
Yes.
I thought so.
Yes, you did.
Okay. Jeez. Oh man, I hate. I forgot what I was going to say.
Of course,
getting old. Getting old. Okay, but anyway, let's move along.
It doesn't get old, right? That's Queen of the Week.
That's right. Took me a second to figure where you were going there.
I saw it coming. All right, so this week's tweet of the week, I almost went a selfish route and almost gave myself the tweet of the week.
Why not?
Just because it's just ripping off from somebody. So
well, that's okay. They probably ripped it off from somebody else.
I don't know. It was pretty original, but I'll get into that in a second.
Okay.
But this week's came from WWE Creative Humor. It's the Twitter handle. Everyone knows the New York Stock Exchange is rigged. So why are they booking us like we're Barry Horowitz?
Okay, that's a fair statement. Actually,
absolutely.
But when you drop half of your income in one day,
that's true.
You can't really claim being rigged.
That's true.
That's exactly what happened to Mr. McMahon.
Yep. And apparently he's very upset.
He's not a happy camper.
He's not a happy camper up there in Connecticut.
Not a happy camper. But hey, you brought this up.
Yes.
Since you did bring it up, what was your tweet?
Oh, okay. Mine, for those who do not watch Legends House, and I know WB doesn't, just because he doesn't have the WWE Network.
That's true.
You are sadly living short of a perfect life because the fact that show is so amazing. I'm a firm supporter of it. And this past week's episode, they did a skit, what they called LARPing. Which is LARPing.
Okay.
Which is live action role play.
Oh, I've seen that on adult websites.
I don't know. You might be thinking something different.
Maybe.
So it's where
does this involve a bottle of Wesson oil and a goat?
A goat, maybe, but no.
Oh, okay. No,
Okay.
that's not the same thing.
It's where you dress up and you have like swords and you have like battles between each other, and it's really strange, but it's really fun to watch on TV. So they had all these legends dress up as wizards and knights. It was really cool to see. But Mean Gene Okerlund has this new saying that every time he says it is just fantastic, and I want you to cue it up for next week's show because it's that funny. But so they thought they were fighting this one warlord, and next thing you know, this warlord comes up with like 60 other people, and he calls his army, and Mean Gene with a straight face and his Mean Gene face goes, "Holy balls!"
I can hear them. I can hear him saying
that. Holy balls!
I'll have to see if I can find the audio drop on that.
As soon as I heard that, I just died.
That is funny. That is funny. Well, along with our 1 year anniversary coming up next week, you know what also is next week?
What?
Payback.
Oh yeah, that's right. No, that's actually tonight.
Is that tonight? No, that's a week from tonight.
No, it's tonight.
It is a week from tonight.
You sure?
You want to bet?
Yeah.
Well, it's a week from tonight that we're recording this show. On WWE's calendar, it's what it is. It is 1 week from tonight.
Really?
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes. See, now you weren't going to be able to watch the pay-per-view tonight like you thought.
I actually planned on watching the pay-per-view tonight, thinking it was on tonight.
Well, now, see, you've got your built-in excuse of gluing yourself in front of the TV now, or in front of the computer for a little while. It is 1 week.
Holy balls!
And we were predicting last week a few of the matches, and a couple of the matches. The predictions just aren't going to be working, but we still have some. One thing that I noticed of interest, and I think this is going to be a good match, actually, even though I'm not a huge fan, is Cesaro taking on Sheamus. I love the way they've been doing the build-up and the storyline to this, and I honestly think this has some potential of a major push after the pay-per-view.
For
the possibility of Sheamus becoming a Paul Heyman guy.
What?
Well, now on Raw last week, after Cesaro and Sheamus had their match, Sheamus lost, and he tried to go over and shake his hand, and they did the old wrestling bit, where the other guy extends his hand and then walks right past him and never does it.
Right. I
think that's a setup for an upcoming storyline of Sheamus joining the pack, as it were.
Huh.
I think that would be an excellent
So with Cesaro?
Yeah. And Sheamus has been dropping hints that he's turning heel anyway. I mean, this would be a perfect direction for them to take him. I think it would be an awesome deal, and maybe even branch off into a sub storyline of Paul Heyman putting Cesaro on the back burner, because now he's got Sheamus as well as the big doofus who ended the streak.
Let's not forget the man who conquered the streak.
Yes. Yeah, the part-time player.
Yes.
In other action next week, it will be the Shield versus Evolution.
Yeah.
Rematch. Bad News Barrett taking on Rob Van Dam.
Okay.
And John Cena versus Bray Wyatt in a last man standing match.
Okay.
Now, one thing I really love about about Bray Wyatt, he's probably one of the better people in the industry now to work a microphone. I don't know how much of this was written by WWE Creative. I have a feeling they just simply gave him talking points. But on SmackDown of the Friday night before we're recording this show, Bray Wyatt had this brilliant dissertation in which he just simply said,
"The Usos walked so blindly into this deadly alliance, and tonight they'll learn the fact that there are worse things in this world than dying. For when your city burned, I was there. And when the plague swept your streets, I was there. And when John Cena falls and his C Nation crumbles, there I will be standing."
Okay, now he gets weird.
"I am forever. I will always be And I have always been Rafuse, Ramashana, Yasofanakrame,
Okay, and of course, no Bray Wyatt rant would be complete unless you heard
He's got the whole
world
Of course.
in his hands. Everybody,
He's got
the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.
Nice harmony, by the way.
Thank you. Okay, now wait for it. There it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love the way he sold that piece, though.
Yeah.
I don't know
What was that?
You know, at first I thought he was speaking in Cajun. You know, the Americanized version of French.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I thought, but then I was just hearing him go blah 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 blah, and I think it's the first instance I've ever seen in pro wrestling where they started speaking in tongues.
So is that a determination that was not an actual language?
No, it's not a determination. I don't think it was. I think it was just gibberish.
You think? Wow.
And I was thinking it was Cajun until I heard him saying blah 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 blah. I mean, he actually said blah 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 blah. Yeah, I think it was just rapping or whatever. What do they call that in jazz? Skip. Scat. I think he was just doing scat. I think that's all he was trying to do.
I thought he was speaking Carney.
But I actually thought he sold that very, very well. And did you like my harmony there?
I did like your harmony.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, but the crowd was kind of stunned by it because that now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I know Raw was there, and I caught
that was England.
Yes. Yeah, that was in London because I caught just a little bit of SmackDown from Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that was from London, which is usually a pretty happening crowd. So yeah, it's kind of surprising.
And you know, one thing I've always wondered, you know, since they've started singing this gospel song, I wonder how many people that's offended.
I don't know.
Because I'm not particularly offended by it. I don't know that it's what would be called terribly appropriate, but I am by no means offended by the use of the song. But I could see where somebody might be, which could be the big reason why they're doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
He's there to shock.
That's true.
He's not there to
shock
be a
value.
good guy. So you know that's. But I thought the selling on that. I thought his selling on that was just absolutely flawless.
So you want to do predictions? What do you see there?
The only other. Excuse me. The only other matches that I'm showing as predictions for us, we still have the Adam Rose versus Swagger angle that could possibly happen. Last week, you know, I had predicted the Usos versus Ryback versus Cody Rhodes and Goldust.
Right.
However, I don't see that happening now because of the fact, the Usos are now being featured in with the Cena versus Wyatt Last Man Standing match.
Right.
Now, refresh my memory. The rule of the Last Man Standing match is quite simple. The last man who can actually stand.
It's a 10 count.
At a 10 count is the one who wins the match, right?
Right.
Okay. You know, Cena. Cena is no stranger to this match.
No, he's done it before.
Yeah, he's done it several times.
Done it before.
One of my most memorable moments that I've ever seen within the WWE was when he did a Last Man Standing match with the Big Show, and Big Show slammed him through a huge searchlight on the stage.
Really?
You remember that?
A searchlight?
You know those searchlights that they would have outside of a car, a car lot? They had one of those on stage. Why? I'll never know. It's the same logic as to, you know, why they have a metal folding chair,
right,
you know, sitting by the announcer's table when everybody's sitting in cushioned seats. But they did. They had this big searchlight up on stage, and it was a marvelous prop to have somebody being thrown into.
I saw, thanks to WB Network, an Extreme Rules from a couple years ago where he actually did a Last Man Standing match of Ryback, which was pretty good showing from both of them actually.
Yeah, and that's a shame because they've used and misused Ryback so much now. I got to tell you, I'm getting tired of seeing him.
Oh yeah, me too.
And
I have been really.
And I just hate seeing them do that to talent. I mean, another person that they misuse, and they misuse a lot, would be Mark Henry. I mean, who would have ever thought a man that size and that much talent to be used as virtually nothing but a jobber?
Well, because he can't stay healthy.
Right.
No, he can't stay healthy. That's the reason why he's gone all the time.
I did not know he was having health problems.
No, not like health issues, but he's always injured. He always is somewhat, or gets injured or is injured. That's the reason they can't trust him. So they can't build a solid storyline or some kind of championship scenario for him because the fact that they really can't trust him.
With the Payback being 1 week from today, and since you mentioned that, we only have 4 matches actually inked in, and those are the 4 that we just went over.
Right.
I know one of the reasons why they're kind of holding back on inking in any more matches is because of the injury that is currently being held over everybody's head with, what's his name?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, him. Yes, him.
Yeah, Daniel Bryant. That's been
Daniel Bryant. Yeah, that's it. He's been gone so long, I forgot his name.
Yeah, the biggest mystery right now in professional wrestling is what's going to happen with Daniel Bryan.
Now, what's interesting here is the fact that this is a true cliffhanger, and I mean a true cliffhanger.
Yeah, absolutely, it is.
This is nothing that's part of the show.
Yep.
He's injured, and they don't know the extent of it, and they've been playing kick the can down the road a little bit over the last couple of weeks. Putting off as far as what they're going to decide to do. Do they take the titles away from him? Do they vacate the titles, or what's going to go on? It depends on what his state of health is between now and a week from now. So it'll be interesting to see how that does play out, which it goes right back to something you and I have said from day one for the last year. A lot of what you see on pro wrestling is either real or based in reality.
Right.
And this is, in fact, one of those cases. So WWE writing staff, which they shouldn't even have anyway to begin with, they are kind of in limbo right now because they don't know what the hell to do now.
Right. You know what? You want to hear the latest rumor that I've been confronted with?
What's that?
WBE is scared that Daniel Bryan could possibly retire.
I could see that being a firm possibility.
This is a neck injury.
Thought about it, but yeah.
Neck injuries are just so sensitive. You see guys' careers get cut short because of neck injuries. Edge, he retired just because of a neck injury. Stone Cold Steve Austin. We haven't seen him get back in the ring and do a final match because of the fact that he was always worried about his neck because it only takes one wrong bump and bam, you're paralyzed. So right now, I think that is a huge scare for him. I know back in the day they were really scared with when Chris Benoit had his neck surgery that he was going to retire, which that might have been the better choice for him looking back. But yeah, that's a scary realization for WBE. What do you do? I mean, you would lose your top babyface that you got. The only person really that could take his place, I don't see coming back. Still, I don't see Punk coming back.
Yeah.
So what do you do? I mean, let's look down that road because even if I don't think Daniel Bryan's going to be at Payback. I think he'll have to vacate the title. I think he is going to be out. If he doesn't retire, I think he's going to be out for a significant amount of time, 4 to 6 months for recovery. Who is that babyface that we don't see that will have to step up to compete?
Well, the first thing they need to do is they need to start rethinking some of the ways that they're handling their current talent. And the name Dolph Ziggler comes to mind. They need to do something different with him. Right. Incredibly talented young man. He's got a lot of ring potential that they are, again, as another talent that is being currently misused.
Right.
Now, it does appear like they've been trying to do a bit of a push with him with his 2-week foray against Batista.
Right.
So maybe
but he's jobbing for Batista.
He is. He is indeed. But at the same time, he's getting some valuable screen time that up until now has not been afforded him. So to that extent, that could be the hint of a possible working of his character. I hope they take away the show off angle and replace that with something else. because I think that's cute and that's good for a mid card match, but it's nothing that would be headliner. And I think they need to rework that character all the way around. Another person that would be able to possibly take over some of the top-notch place if he had vocal coaching, and a strong emphasis on that phrase, if he had vocal coaching, would be Jack Swagger. Because I think he's a great wrestler. I think he's a great performer. But the second he opens his mouth, he's an idiot.
All right.
He just doesn't know how to work vocally. He does have some speech impediments, and I'm not trying to make fun of anybody who has speech impediments. I stutter all the time. So I have no room on which to stand on that. But he could use some vocal coaching, or at least maybe some vocal training to help him get over that. If they could help him get over that and make it successfully, Jack Swagger could have some potential of showing some strength. I mean, he's got the size, he's got the build, he has the ring presence, and he has the experience and the technical aspect. Now they need to work on the showmanship part of it, and they would have the complete package.
Very good observation. I still see, what you mentioned with Sheamus turning heel. I think that is coming. But I don't see him joining Cesaro. I think it'd be more of a Paul Heyman decide, Cesaro, you're not a true Heyman guy. Sheamus is, and then that could lead for Cesaro to get a big baby face push.
Now that I can see. Now that I would like to see.
I think he'd be the top candidate. I think we'd see the Shield get even more of popularity, and possibly even Roman Reigns probably pushed to main event status a little bit faster than normal because of an injury to Daniel Bryant. You would have to push him to some kind of main event status.
And when it comes to the Shield, three incredible individuals in the ring.
Yes,
they may. Because of the current incident with Daniel Bryan, WWE might be forced into the old philosophy of divide and conquer and split up the Shield.
They might have to. Because
right now they have the Shield, which they can give a push to, or they could have three talents to which they could have three pushes to. And they kind of have to, since the current thing that they're playing with now is what's good for business, they may have to consider that as a possibility.
I mean, realistically, what's after this for the Shield? What's after Evolution? That's it.
Right now, on the short end of the spectrum, I would have to agree with you. It's kind of hard to say, not being able to forecast the future. But yeah, it's kind of hard to see.
I mean, Batista's leaving because Batista has to film another movie, so he will not be available to do anything.
Yeah,
I've heard some rumors within that they're looking at the possibility of maybe pushing Randy Orton babyface again. I'm not a fan of that. I prefer Randy Orton as a heel.
Yes, absolutely.
Than a babyface. I just never really. I really don't care for him. Period. But I think I like him more as a heel than a babyface. But man, it's a tough go round. I mean, you'd really have to start looking at your NXT talent. We just saw. We're seeing a lot of them come forward. Adam Rose is NXT, which I don't see that working. Bo Leave.
Oh, now.
Bo Dallas. I know you wanted to touch on this. Go ahead.
He had his debut last night on SmackDown.
Yes.
And I think this was another excellent example of where all the hype outshined the performer. I mean, the hype on it was great. They had the hype in such a way it was hard to tell whether he was going to be a heel or a face. That could have gone either way. As it turns out, he is going to be a heel. And then he came across like a lukewarm glass of milk.
Why is that?
It was just so. I had a hard time staying awake. It was possibly the dullest thing I've ever seen. The whole crux of his angle is, you remember a few years ago they had a guy who they actually ran this gimmick for a while, and I can't think of his name, but he was showing you his own line of vitamins and stuff.
Simon Diamond. No. Simon Dean.
Simon Dean. Yeah, that's it. And he was there to improve your life. Well, Bo Dallas seems to be taking this same type of angle of where your life can improve, and he's living proof that miracles can happen if you only believe. So he's going to be like the big motivational speaker for WWE.
He's the Joel Osteen of WWE.
Oh man, and I hate to say it, but Joel Osteen would come across as a far better entertainer, and and Bo Dallas is a lot pudgier than I thought.
Yeah, a little pudgy.
Yeah, and because they had him kneeling in the ring before the match.
I saw a picture of that.
His gut was hanging over his tights.
I mean, but IRS is his dad. Bray Wyatt is his brother. I mean, none of those guys were really.
But guys like that though, who are supposed to have some type of a physique, you don't expect to see them coming out and suffering from a case of Dickie Doo.
That's true. I know what Dickie Doo is.
Yeah, that's where his tummy hanging out further than his, well, we'll let you guys fill in the gap on that one. But, it just amazed me that they allowed that type of vision to be portrayed.
Right.
Needless to say, it didn't work for me. I love the hype. I like the build up. But there was nothing there. I mean, it's just like, when I'm being told that I'm set up on a blind date and I'm told she has a great personality, that almost always means that I'm going to be the pretty one.
All of a sudden I become sick.
Yes.
I'm not feeling well.
And that's pretty much the way I viewed Bo Dallas's teases that they've been doing for the past 2 or 3 months leading up to this very anticlimactical debut.
Agreed.
I'm sorry. I just don't buy it. They're going to have to do some serious work over on that one. And it's not. Now, one thing that has surprised me, though, was Adam Rose. I felt the same way about him, and I'm already beginning to warm up to him.
Really?
But there's something they can do with that character and with that gimmick. There are at least directions they can take in. Like last night, they had a wonderful interchange between him and Vicky Guerrero in the ring.
I saw that.
And Vicky Guerrero wound up being carried out of the room by about, at least 6 men were holding her up, because I think it would take at least 6 men to hold her up.
7, maybe.
7, yeah, probably. And one of them's nickname was Caterpillar. I don't mean to say this guy was big, but he started walking backwards and began beeping.
You're talking about like his group of people who carried her, right?
Right.
Oh, okay.
I counted off more than. I tried to get a head count last night, but it was hard to with all the quick camera shots, and with my DVR, could have stopped and paused, but I thought, oh, what the hell. But I stopped counting at like 14.
14?
So there are no less than 14 people in his entourage, and that's something.
14 people who belong to the Rosebud Army?
The Rosebuds.
Yes.
What
maybe
a name.
You should tweet. Maybe I should tweet one of the meetings of Rosebud.
Yeah, well, I'm sure a lot of people know. It's no big secret. I mean, the term Rosebud, and I think it is a secret from WWE writers, but the term Rosebud is a slang term for an anus. So I somehow get the distinct impression WWE writers were not aware of this little factoid.
Oh, jeez.
Are you a lemon or a rosebud?
I don't know.
If you suck on a lemon, it will make your rosebud pucker.
That's true. That's true.
So, but anyway, on that note,
next week.
What an amazing ending.
Yeah, that's a great ending, by the way.
Oh, the wordplay we could do on that one.
All right, so next week, our 1-year episode of SCI Wrestling. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your pets. Join us. We should be a good time.
Send the dog out in the yard.
Yes,
Gather
please.
around the computer.
Put the kids to bed.
And we'll discuss the necessity of the WWE Network.
Absolutely.
Next week. Until later on, remember to join us next week for the big 1-year anniversary on this incredibly fun program to produce and listen to, the ones you want to put in your scrapbook for all life. And it's the lovely show that we call
SCI.